Hi. So for my first concert reduction presentation, I chose to talk about Yeah, Yeah, Yeah by Bob Mincer. What made me decide to do this was I wanted to study voicings used with a strong bass line and in a backbeat groove, since at the time it was still a one of the key things I was going to do with Big Brown Eyes was use the bass line and then try and figure out how to embellish that in a way that's not just the bass line. And now that I'm doing this in a after having written the chart, I didn't stick to that, but it was still interesting to look at how Bob Mincer used his bass line. Another point was to study how the bass line was orchestrated and creating that groove specifically. It's a shuffle, so it's a bit heavier than what I was looking for, but wanted to see how he was orchestrating things and how he got that clear across the group. And then I wanted to study how the saxes were layered in, or how he was able to like move through this one groove and loop it and create another layer with the saxes. My main takeaways were that the bass line is strong with four voices layering. That is the upright bass, trombone four, bari, and guitar are all playing the bass line. And these are the notes that are unison on the brass bass clef. The where it explodes are the rest of trombones coming in with trumpets on top of that. Trombone and trumpet counterline. I think the melody, like we've talked about in class, came first and then was voiced out. Generally, the trumpets are unblocked using extensions or color notes, and then the trombones are in spread and typically quartal with critical tones. There are some exceptions to this, like down at bar 10. I was looking at that, and it's like counts 2 and 3 are 1, 5, 9 going down in the trombones, and then 1 sharp 5 sharp 9. So it seems like there are some places where he's kind of just, I mean, maybe he just like knows that that's a voicing he likes or whatever, but then he's changing the extensions, or like exchanging the extensions for more color, or just to create like a chromatic passing. And especially because these are way heavier and shorter in the middle of the bass baseline happening, it seems like he could kind of get away with more of a crunch, or being able to use alterations like that. And then I made a note that the melody note is generally doubled an octave above in trombone 1, which is the melody note being held in the trumpet. Range for both trumpets and trombones is mid-high. It's punchy and it fits with the bass line, or at least it fits with the bass line, meaning like it stands out from the bass line. The bass line's low, and then the trombones and trumpets come up on top of that in the higher range, creating that kind of dynamic between the main idea and like the ornament of it. And then saxes, when added, focused on rhythm pairing with bass line and split away from unisons to support brass / create depth and shape in the rhythmic part. I think this was definitely just like a different idea layered in. The rhythms do definitely line up with the brass and trombone ideas, but otherwise it kind of just creates depth. It's not supposed to be like a main idea or come out to the forefront, I thought. Yeah. There weren't too many other major notes I made, or at least for my thinking. A lot of the voicings I made note of, and from what I remember, there was a lot of planing. There were, like I said earlier, the trombones were quartal, trumpet block, and just because of the weight and in response to the bass line, I feel like there's more dissonance, especially since it's all over dominant chords. So yeah.